All right, guys, really quickly, I'm going to cover some of the Thor Awakening tech now that we've got a cancel added to it. There are a couple interesting things you can do with it. It's not as good as I think everybody kind of hoped it would be when that first video leaked from the data mine build that was showing that it refunds a Thorforce, but there's a way to kind of trick it into doing that for us anyway, so we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the one thing that you really need to be able to do with it, even if you can't figure out any of the other stuff or the combos are a little bit too much for your muscle memory or whatever, there's one thing in particular that you definitely need to know. So we'll start with that because it kind of starts all the other combos. If you're familiar with the M1 buffer from just normal Awakening Rune, it's that, but it's applied to the cancel. So if you're not familiar, the M1 buffer is M1 is mouse 1. If you're a controller person, I don't know why, but this is your M1, whatever button you press to do this, okay? And what you do is you start that, and then you pop your rune in the middle of that animation, and you keep holding that until the animation is done. And then on the last rune, you'll get one extra rune, and it comes out with a hammer swing at the same time. And that hammer hits like a normal swing, and the rune that comes out of it also hits. So it's like a 115, same as old hammer throw cancel used to be. So what that looks like in practice is normally rune would be 10. Here it's going to be 11. That one, and you saw the swing that comes with it. So where that's useful is that whatever rune you cancel on, if you cancel in the middle of a rune, you'll get the hammer at the same time as long as you're M1 buffering, and they also will come out simultaneously, which puts you at the breakpoint for a 250 and a 275 because of the 15 damage aura tick if you're standing close enough to the 275. So what that looks like in practice on a 250 is that. And then on a 275, we'll go up here real quick. It's the exact same combo for both, but just showing you the difference between having the tick damage and not. Yeah. So it's good. It's real good to have that 115 burst. That's what we used to be able to do all the time with hammer throw cancel. If you know, then you know, but we don't have that anymore. So moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the properties of the cancel itself. I know in the notes it said something about it having like a brief delay before you're able to cancel. That's not really noticeable for the amount of time that you would normally stay in it. I'm assuming they did that just so you can't pop it and quick cancel it for 150, and then I don't know why anybody would do that because it takes away your Thorforce anyway, and you can't easily get away, so you might as well, do something with it. So let's talk about it. Look down at the colors of the icons on the bottom right. When you go into any ability, they change from white to yellow for the one that you're using and to red for the ones that you're locked out of, right? So if we do rune, we're locked out of everything. If we cancel rune, we don't have the Thorforce to do surge, so surge is still red. If we do lightning realm, we're briefly locked out of everything. That's kind of not true because you can technically cancel lightning realm into other shit, but we'll talk about that in a second too, because that's one of our combo bridges that we'll talk about later. The important thing is that when you do this, when you do the M1 buffer 2 runes into the third rune, and it doesn't have to be the third rune, you can do it on any rune, it's just that's what the breakpoint is for 250s and 275s. When you do that, if you do hit the hammer on that at the same time, because Awakening is an ability that uses Thorforce, it puts your hammer in the state where hitting a melee swing on your next, or connecting a melee swing next with the hammer blue will give you back 1 Thorforce. So you kind of are getting the refunded Thorforce in a roundabout way, as long as you're canceling it close enough to where your last rune plus swing hits someone. So what that looks like is, and then you can just immediately surge out. As long as you cancel correctly where your last swing plus rune is hitting somebody and giving the Thorforce back. So you don't actually have to cancel, then wait, then swing. You can do it simultaneously with the cancel. So that's important. That's important for escape, and it's also important for the combos that we're going to talk about. Now, you don't need combos in general. They're useful for higher HP targets. They're useful for like trying to have an idea of what you want to do with your flow instead of being lost with your buttons, especially if you're going to try to get some muscle memory. If you've got like a fighting game background, especially, it's really useful to have like what we would call in fighting games like bread and butter combos, like specific strings that you go to in specific situations that are kind of universal. The only true universals here are going to be the one that I just showed you, the M1 buffer into the 2 runes into the cancel rune. And Same thing, but for higher HP targets, just adding a hammer throw. So it's the exact same thing, except you're pressing your hammer throw down at the end. Now, there's another interesting thing you can do where, like, let's say there's more than one person here. And I think I'm going to kill him with the combo that I just did, but I still want to deal with the other person too. What you can do is you can bridge these in a way with your Lightning Realm, where you end up with 3 Thorforce and can flow right back into another rune. So what that looks like is this. Actually, let me explain the order of it first before I show it. So it's going to be swing, rune, 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 cancel rune, swing rune at the same time. Lightning Realm, hammer throw, go right back into Awakening. Okay? So being able to chain those together like that is very useful. And then also, if you need to get out for whatever reason, like let's say, as long as you hit that last hammer plus rune at the same time on the second person you're fighting, you can leave anytime you want by canceling. So that's where that gets pretty useful. So it's that combo, if I were to actually like spell it out, would be buffer M1 into 2 runes, into cancel, into bridge Lightning Realm, into hammer throw, into another M1 buffered 2 runes, cancel rune, then surge out. Or however many runes you want to do, because it doesn't have to be on the third one, like I think I already mentioned. So I've seen some people put out some stuff with like surges mixed in. I'm not crazy about mixing surges into the combos because I feel like these are more for like assassination of specific targets or for brawling. And if you're going to surge, the surge you have to remember is that's only 40 damage. It's the lowest damage of all the things that you can do. It's the same damage as pushing somebody out of Lightning Realm. But if you drop Lightning Realm as part of that combo, I think that would be a good reason to throw a surge in there, just to push them out to give them the extra 40 damage. So then it becomes 80 from your push plus the 40 from them being popped out of it. Other than that, I probably wouldn't mix surge into these too much. I would save my surge for escape or for intentional displacement of other tanks. And then, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's really it. Like, obviously, you've got a lot more flexibility now, so you can do all kinds of shit. You can put these in a lot of different orders, whatever order you want to do. I just think the most efficient one is to end with the burst. And the reason, like, I've seen some people that start with the burst, cancel, and they do other shit, which I think is weird. I don't like doing that because you don't want the person that you're attacking to realize that they're in trouble too early. So the less burst you do front-loaded, and the more you save for the back end, the longer they're likely to wait before they're like, oh shit, like I need to get out, and now it's too late. But if you just open up on them with your hardest shit, like your big cancel or whatever, then you're kind of putting them in a situation where they're like, okay, like I think I do want to leave now. And then I have seen people talk about like opening with hammer throw and then going into the same stuff just for the damage up front. I don't know, man. I don't think it matters that much. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about any of that. I like doing the big burst at the end, cancel at the end, because then you have the ability to just leave immediately off of the one that you just regen. So, and if you open with hammer throw, it's on cooldown for 5 seconds. So then by the time you finish your rune cancel shit, it's still not back up. So you actually can't get the like if you wanted to do a second one like on a 300 HP target, like he is. Like if I had already used hammer throw and then I try to come in and do that combo, it doesn't work. Because I don't have the hammer throw anymore to throw in at the end. Like if I didn't have hammer throw there, he'd kind of still be alive for one more hit. So yeah, just stuff to keep in mind. It's going to be a game a lot more about managing your resources than it used to be, because you have a lot more reason to dunk all 3 into a rune and then not have the same 5 seconds before you would get the automatic one, but you can force yourself to get one automatic, and then you just kind of have to play around your 6 second and your 12 second cooldowns now. And I still don't know why the fuck lightning realm is 12 seconds. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun. I had fun playing a few games with it earlier. I'm still kind of in the middle of Kingdom Come 2 right now, so when I finish that, I'm sure I'll get more back into this. But yeah, just some stuff I saw might be useful to some people, so I figured I'd put it out there. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.